Before you set your sights solely on the soon-to-be-released all-new 6th generation Camaro, the outgoing model says don't forget about me just yet, especially when the car in question is the iconic Z28, the most track-capable Camaro ever. It's been about 3 years since I've driven the supercharged Camaro ZL1, the most powerful production Camaro ever, a perfect blend of obtainable high performance and obliging practicality. But that car isn't hardcore enough for those with frequent racetrack intentions. So Chevy has revived the Z28 moniker to put a bow on the highly successful run of the 5th gen Camaro. Having lapped the Nürburgring road course 4 seconds faster than the ZL1, the Z28 is a street-capable track car with a laser focus on taking this large, heavy coupe to new levels of grip, handling, aerodynamics, and ultimately faster lap times. It's down 300 pounds from the ZL1, possesses obvious downforce enhancers, sports some of the widest, stickiest, and priciest rubber I've ever tested, brakes with up to 1.5 G of deceleration with carbon ceramic Brembos, and last but not least, triggers with the brute force of Chevy's 427, a naturally aspirated small block 7-liter V8 which previously saw time in the 6th gen Corvette Z06. Just like then, it produces 505 horsepower and 481 pound-feet of torque and comes only with a 6-speed manual. If it's not mandated by the government or doesn't contribute to getting the car through faster, then it was left out. Taking pity on us journalists, Chevy fitted this car with the optional air conditioning and audio package, resulting in an MSRP of $76,150. That includes a $1,700 gas guzzling tax, which, by the way, my weekly average of 12 mpg on premium is the worst I can ever recall. But you don't go Z28 to save gas, you get it because you want the most purpose-built, finely tuned Camaro available. GM invited me to drive it at my favorite track down in Monticello, New York, but a soaking rain disallowed it. So my review is biased to those of you who are considering a Z28 as a weekend warrior that'll live more on your favorite roads than your favorite road course. And much to my surprise, I discovered a Camaro that is much more off-track friendly than I ever would have guessed. With that in mind, I called up a buddy of mine who has wrenched on and competed in Z28s to share his perspective. Let me introduce you to a good friend of mine. This is Lance Lane. Lance is a former Camaro Z28 owner and also has acted as a technical advisor over the years for Drive Time. And I thought it would be a great opportunity, Lance, to have you come out with me in this new Z28 and see what you think.
Oh, Steve, I can't wait to get behind the wheel of this. It looks like a beast already. It looks like something that wants to go out and tame the roads. Let's go for a ride.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
No, I definitely like this. This does harken old Camaro days where you would go out, you would take a Camaro, you would build it up, and you'd go on the back roads, find as many roads as you can, challenge your friends to say, hey, my car will handle these roads better than yours.
Right.
Right? Because you're getting a full-on street vehicle here and a full-on track vehicle.
Right.
So you're going to be able to go to a track and you're going to be able to take this out and drive the track as hard as you can without going out, putting in a new rear end, putting in a new transmission, putting in a new motor. You've got everything here ready to go, and you go out on a weekend and you have fun. It has a lot of Street Fighter cred, right? It's a lot different than a Corvette, where a Corvette is more of an elite car. And so this car has that, this is a Street Fighter car. It looks mean. You roll up to somebody or you roll up to a group of people my age sitting at an ice cream stand. It's actually kind of cool. You walk up and people say, wow, look at that. That looks awesome. And you're like, yeah, because it harkens a lot of that bad boy image from the 60s and the 70s with the fake louvers on the back and the headlights and that grille and the splitter on the front. That alone screams, hey, let's go out and do something really bad tonight and try not to get arrested.
One way this Z28 takes the Camaro into the future is through the Performance Traction Management System. Not new to the car, but even more advanced here with something GM calls flying car logic, a feature for track use only that helps maintain the car's full power and momentum even when the tires lose contact with the ground. With 5 modes, each one taking your talents a bit further, PTM allows you to do things like mash the throttle at the exit of a corner without losing the rear end. And with race car-inspired spool valve dampers and other comprehensive chassis and suspension changes, the Z28 is firm but not at all punishing and allows the car to follow a line dutifully. The super wide Pirelli P0 Trofeo Rs are near slicks and follow any groove in the road they can find. Driving in the rain should be avoided, and replacing them will set you back about $600 per, but they are an essential element to the Z28's glued to the pavement persona. Dry sump lubrication, expertly honed steering precision, a right where you intended it to go short throw shifter, a dual stage exhaust system, and the best brake feel I've ever experienced are all standard. It's an easy car to drive and far more agreeable to the driver than you'd expect.
And then you go back to the old Trans Am days, right? Not Trans Am the car, but Trans Am the road series and such. You know, these things were dominant. You could go out there and you could throw some really nice aftermarket parts on these and go out and race and be dominant on the track with a Camaro. And still today, we see the Camaros out there always, you know, lapping really great times. It almost is like it was a purpose-built car that actually fell over into the general public, which is kind of cool. You're right, absolutely. If you wanted a second car that's a lot of fun and you could just go out and feel those old muscle car days again, this is it.
So that was an exhilarating ride.
I'll tell you, Steve, that car is fun to drive. It's got all the comforts of a race car. You feel like you're cocooned in it, and you take off and it's holding you in your place. And the gears, and when you go through the gears, the sound of that 505 horsepower motor is incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And it looks like you're driving a race car on the road, so the heads that it turns when you drive by just adds to the coolness factor.
I really want to just take some vinyl letters and just throw a number on the side and my name up on the roof, because it would be even more impressive just pulling in with your name and numbers on the side. People would think you're literally pulled off the track.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your racing days.
Well, I had some, I grew up with cars with my family, and I was always a diehard bow tie guy. I love Chevys, and I had a Camaro when I was in high school, and I went through many modifications with it. You would change the engine, you would change the rear end, you would change everything you could to make it faster and meaner. I did some SCCA autocrossing, had a blast with that car. I'll tell you, nowadays you could buy something like this, has everything that I put hours of sweat into it, and it's just beautiful.
You can get it right from the factory and have it back with a factory warranty. That's pretty cool, right?
That is very cool. You know, there's no beating the fenders to fit the tires underneath. There's no pulling engines out. It's all right here.
So what do you think? I mean, tell me a little bit about the differences between what you can remember from your 78 to something like this.
Well, there's a lot of differences and a lot of similarities, right? It's got that look, and it's got a lot of reminiscence of the old Camaros, and that's what's really cool. The differences are that everything's right there ready for you, right? You get in the car, you already got the Recaro seats, you get into it, you put the seatbelt on, that 6-speed transmission is fabulous, 505 horsepower of growling power, and the tires and the wheels and the way it adjusts to the road, it's just amazing.
Do you feel like you have more control over the car now than you did then?
I did, because back then, even though it was a high-performance car, when you got finished with it, changing the springs and everything, it still felt like a big, heavy car. These things, with the different settings you can choose on the fly, tightens the steering up, it doesn't feel like a big car anymore that you're throwing through the corners.
Where's your checkbook?
My checkbook is at home, and I think my wife's got control of it right now.
There's almost a $20,000 price premium here over the ZL1, but it's money well spent for the driver in need of a no-excuses Camaro that's far happier than expected, even when simply driving by the track. For TestDriveNow.com, I'm Steve Hammis.